Okay, Broncos Country, the off season is officially here. Oh, it pains me to say it, but you know what? 2024 was a great year. A really, really good year. I have I have such hope for this team, and I know that the future is bright. So tonight, we're just going to do a retrospective looking back at 2024 and what the year was for us. Our favorite moments, our least favorite moments, whatever we want to talk about. It's going to be chill, guys. Welcome to the very first episode of the Nothing Rhymes Orange and Blue podcast during the 2025 off season. Let's go.
So smooth, the pins to chew, breaking down plays about to debut. Never pride in every view, nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Bright lights of my heart in our view. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. From draft picks to game reviews, celebrating wins, analyzing the clues. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. No orange and blue.
Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast.
What is up, Broncos Country? And how you doing, Orange and Blue crew? Welcome to the very first edition of Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast during the 2025 off season. It is great to be here with you all. You know, the season is over, and that is sad. But we go all year long, so we're going to stick it out with you all the way up through the 2025 season. We're very ready. The future is bright. 2024 was great. Jay, I haven't talked to you since right after the Broncos lost to the Buffalo Bills. How you feeling?
Well, glass half full. I feel glass half full. You know, I think a lot of Broncos Country had a lot of knee-jerk emotional reactions, understandably, post-game. Things got a little heated in the Discord. But at the end of the day, I think everybody could take a deep breath, and 24 hours after that loss, we could kind of, digest that this was a hell of a season and just reflect back on a fantastic overall experience as being a Bronco fan for a season, an entire season, which is rare. So it's been a good week, man. Positivity.
Yeah, definite positivity. Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you, man. You know, like I don't think I was having a knee jerk reaction after Sunday's loss. You know, I mean, let's be honest. It was pretty predictable. Maybe not as blown out as it was. I mean, they definitely seemed to have our number there for a minute, and that definitely hurt a lot. Sure. But beyond that, you know, like I'm not sitting there screaming for anybody to get fired. I'm not screaming for changing of the guard, any of that right now. Right now, dude, look at what we did in 2024, man. Like that's what tonight is. Tonight is a retrospective of the year. We get to sit here, just talk about the year in a day in the life of the year or whatever you want to call it. Go through what the season was like for us as the fans, our favorite moments, some of the things that we saw that we liked, some of the things that we didn't like so much. But I mean, it was a great season. Disappointing game, but a very, very good season. And we set ourselves a new bar, that really just kind of, I don't know, Jay. I feel like, this new baseline that we have to go from, to build from. I feel like this is just going to, launch pad us into the future, man. Springboard us into the future.
Well, yeah, and I kind of feel like, as we during this episode look upon specific moments of this season that stuck out to us, it's overall just kind of a reset of culture and a reset of expectations of what we thought this team would do and what it actually did. I guess two big things I would start out with would be our personal experiences. You got to go to a pivot point of the season in a PS2 pick six that I think literally changed the trajectory of our season. Whereas if we really think about it, this Broncos team was down in the dumps going into that Raiders game, and the Raiders were walking all over us in that first
Quarter.
Yeah, quarter
Yeah.
of the game. And it wasn't until that PS2 interception that, like, oh wow, we're actually going to do something with this season.
Sure.
And then
Sure.
I would also reflect back on the game that I went to, me and Ty Y, the fantasy guy. We went to the game in New Jersey for the New York Jets. And that was a significant game, at least in my eyes, because we were coming right off of the Tampa Bay win. And I think every single person, not only in Broncos country, but the NFL in general, turned their eyes and like looked over at the Broncos and said, what the heck is this? Like, we were not expected to go into Tampa Bay and do anything. That was probably the first point in the season where, like, wow, this team could actually do something. Like, this is a little different. Now, let's see if this different feeling is just a fluke, an outlier. Is this a repeatable feat? Is this something that we can build upon? And I feel like the game me and Ty went to in New York in the monsoon, where in previous years we would have let go of that rope, and that game would have been crap. And we stuck with it, and we got a really gritty W, Whereas the Tampa Bay game, honestly, like, we dominated start to finish. That wasn't ever in question. That wasn't a gritty win. The Jets game was a gritty win. And at that point in the season, the Jets were still, like, had high expectations. They were supposed to be coming into the season, a top 5 AFC team. A lot of people predicted to go to the Super Bowl. So that was two crucial games that just me and you got to attend in person that were, I think, highlights of this season. What do you think of those two?
Oh man,
those two
like,
games?
I mean, dude, first of all, like, to the game you went to, I obviously it was you and Ty Y, the fantasy guy there. It wasn't me. I couldn't make it. And besides, I wouldn't want to go to Jersey, even if you twisted my ear.
It was rough.
Dude. But, but I mean, but watching that game and sitting there and thinking about and witnessing it, the thing is, I don't think I've ever witnessed a game with worse conditions. I mean, you were in the stands, Jay. You were living it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that, like, they were saying that it was like, it was raining, but it was soupy and it was hot and it was muggy and gross. And it like everybody just said, like, I think Kyle Brandt made the joke on Good Morning Football the next day. Like, you could feel the moss growing on your butt.
Yeah.
And like, and it was not good conditions for either team. That was, I think, the first one that we got to see this team going toe to toe with a team where both teams were at a disadvantage because the conditions were bad for both. And again, it was early on. It was Bo. Bo was still trying to come into his own at that time, and was still struggling in a lot of ways. And I mean, and I remember making some, talking to everybody, being like, yeah, when he overthrew that one, that was a slip of the ball because it was wet, and he refused to wear gloves. I remember that.
Correct.
But in the end, we got to watch these two teams go head to head, and both were at a disadvantage. Both teams were struggling with the conditions, and the Broncos were able to pull it out. And I remember thinking to myself at that exact moment, like, how often in the past, over the past 9 years, have we been in games where we should win, or the conditions are bad and whatever, and like it's close, and we're like, you can win this. This is winnable, and then something happens and we don't. The fact that at that moment in those conditions and both teams are struggling, that we pulled it out. We managed to pull it together and get the win. I was excited because at that moment it was like, holy crap, this team's actually starting to learn how to win, not just play,
Yep.
know? And so I was excited about that. Now, as to the game that I went to, guys, I wish that Jay and I could say that we get to go to more than one game a year. If I could afford to, I would be at every single game. I would fly, I would drive, whatever. I would be at every game if I could afford it. I can't. I just can't. I am a blue collar worker. I live pretty much paycheck to paycheck, and I get to plan for maybe one, maybe 2 games a year. So this year, we made the plan, and me and Isaiah, and my wife and my brother, we went to see to the Raiders game at home. The throwback game where they honored
Beautiful
the gentleman.
uniforms.
Yes, beautiful uniforms, and they honored Riley Odoms Senior or Riley Odoms, and Steve. Oh God, I can't remember his name. Anyway, it was a phenomenal experience. Getting to rub elbows with the fans as always, getting to go around the tailgates, guys. Oh, I love our tailgates. They are wonderful. But man, we got in the stadium, and like you said, Jay, right out the gate, like Max Crosby was in Bo's face, and things were getting rough, and the Raiders put up 10 points on us early, and we're sitting there, with zero burger on the board, and I'm like, oh God. I'm sitting there, I'm rocking my Mile High Viking stuff I wear every game, every game day, and I'm sitting there going, oh God, this is getting so bad. What are we doing? This is the Raiders we're talking about. Like, even if the Raiders were a good team, we can't just let them walk all over us like this, but they're not a good team, and they're killing us.
At that point, hadn't beaten the Raiders since before COVID.
I know. Yeah, that's true. I got to be there for the game where we finally broke
the last one
streak.
The last monkey on our back.
Yeah, the last monkey on the back, and yeah, sorry, Steve Foley. Thank you. Bonkers Broncos, thank you. I'm like sitting there, I'm like, Steve, I know who I'm talking about here. But anyway, then PS2 snaps off that interception and takes it back for a pick six. And like you said, Jay, it feels like after that, that's when our season started to build. And getting to be there and live it and witness the end of the losing streak to the Raiders, and getting to walk out after a Raider game, because I've been to several during that streak, getting to walk out and us be taunting the Raiders fans as we're leaving our own stadium, because it's been them taunting us for the past how many ever years, and it was such an amazing experience. This team has such a bright future, Jay. I'm so excited, man.
No, I mean, again, it's such a nice experience to look back on a season where there were highlights. Like, we've had so many years in the past that, like, I don't want to go game for game because all games were pretty much the same. We put up 13 points. We put up 9 points. We put up 7 points. We put up, it just went on and on and on of our offense being so inadequate that it wasn't even entertaining. We were living in the times where Mile High fans in the stadium were leaving at halftime.
Oh, that's
disgusting. At the end of a game.
Well, because you and I were raised by our grandfather. Yeah, and you and I were raised by our grandfather. You don't leave the stadium till zeros are on the board.
Correct.
Until it's until the zeros on the clock.
Or at the end of a game.
Yeah. And I'm still that way. Like, even when I'm sitting at home watching the game on my couch with a plate of nachos and all that, man, like, even if the game is an absolute blowout, we're getting destroyed. The Miami game, good example. I did not turn that game off until there were zeros on the clock. That's because that's our rule. That's how you and I were raised. And that's our fandom. But got
to put it in the time.
This season, we didn't feel like we needed to do that anymore. There were moments, sure, but as a season, this whole season was encouraging. Speaking of encouraging, we got plenty of our friends in the chat right now. That's right. We got one from Twitch here. Only Zeus 13 saying, just asking if you need a video editor to edit your live stream or podcast and turn it into content that can be posted. No, not particularly. I do all that work myself. I'm actually pretty adept at it. But I do appreciate the offer, my friend. D-Rock coming in saying, one hell of a year. salute.
For
Love
real,
it.
D-Rock. It has
Our
been a
dear,
hell of a year.
our good friend Bonkers Broncos popping and saying, "What up, fellas? What's up, Bonkers? Good to see you." Loving that picture there with the 3 Lombardis. That's awesome. I have yet
You
to actually get to see
betcha.
those myself in person, but I'll get there. Um, you got our good buddy, our good buddy Shy Vargas in the house, the guy who came in and pumped us up before the Buffalo game.
I'm gonna forevermore refer to Shy Vargas as the pre-game hype man. He is the pre-game hype man from now on. So Shy,
Yeah.
appreciate you being
Yeah.
here, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, Shy. We love you, buddy. KB82 popping in saying, "What's up, fellas? What's up, Kenny? Love you, buddy. It's good to see you." D-Rock back in the house saying, "I'm not going to lie, but at the beginning of the season, we looked grim. What a turnaround, and come on, Casa Bonito was phenomenon." D-Rock coming in saying, "The Jets was my fave." So there you go. He liked that game too, Jay. Bonkers saying, "Build the Broncos back better, baby." Man, look at the use of alliteration. Not only is every word in Bonkers Broncos comment starting with the letter B, but both the words in his screen name. Bonkers Broncos, build the Broncos back better, baby.
A lot of B's.
I mean, what alliteration you got going on there, dude. I haven't seen that many B's since Paris Hilton's bra. Okay, so
just a little guys.
KB82 popping in. Drops, and more drops. Run defense was non-existent, and VJ is Wade Phillips minus the balls. Oh, buddy, I ain't going that far.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad comparison, to be quite honest.
It's not.
I love Son of Bum here. I'm a huge Son of Bum guy here. But at the end of the day, he wouldn't be who he is without the talent of that 2015 team. And I said this all over Twitter. I was like, I would rather have 2 third-round draft picks for VJ, because at the end of the day, if you're super successful in man coverage, that's more of an indication of your talent than it is a scheme. It's not a rocket scientist to come up with a man scheme for a defense. That's not any big whoop. That's relying on the talent of your outside defenders. And we have great talent. That's why it makes it work.
Absolutely. We're gonna finish getting through these comments, and then we'll keep on going. We got D-Rock popping in. Please don't forget, Alex Singleton will be back next year. Okay? Yeah, hey, I'm here. I've heard nothing saying he won't.
Not so fast.
We don't know yet. We do not know what they're gonna do, but I mean, they're gonna have to address a lot of positions, and some of those positions they may not be able to afford to part with everybody the team's got already. I'm just saying. Whatever you want to say about Alex Singleton, before he got hurt, he led this team for consecutive seasons in tackles. All right. He was a master of stopping the run, and he wasn't bad at all in coverage. Yeah, he's coming off this ACL tear. It might slow him down a bit, but hopefully we've seen plenty of guys in the NFL come back from ACL tears and be just as good as they were before. In fact, let's just call back to Adrian Peterson. He was even better than he was before his ACL tear. Now, granted, we've got guys on our own team that had that injury that Javonte Williams, couldn't come back from it. But
speaking of people that will be gone next
he is a good field general, and that's somebody that I would want out there.
He was the green
Cody
dot.
Cody Barton held the green dot while he was out, but Cody Barton's going to be a free agent. I honestly don't foresee them bringing him back. So
it'll be interesting.
Alex Singleton will be on the final year of his contract. So very, very possible that he will stay for at least to ride out the last year of his contract, maybe kind of be a voice to groom his possible replacements, for the following season. Because one thing I want this team to be, Jay, and I don't know if you agree with this, but we've already shown in a lot of ways that that part of the culture we're building here is player development. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. We're a young team.
We are, but I mean, one thing to say about it is a lot of teams go out there, and yes, do I think that we do need to go out and add some star power in the offseason? Yes, we do. but a lot of teams literally live and die by adding veteran star, and just trying to build this like, super team right now. I feel like Sean Payton, George Payton, the culture that they're building here is we are going to get these guys and we're going to develop them. We're going to develop them for the long term. That's and that's just the feeling I get just watching all these guys that George Payton's had his hand in drafting, and a lot of them still being here and now being productive members of this team. Nick Bonito is a great example of that. That's player development. He got here, and I mean, I thought it was a joke. I was like, really? This guy? He's a project. Well, now we see that the project worked.
Well, and I think we touched on this on the post game, is that we need to bring in veteran talent, but we need to bring in the right veteran talent from a personality standpoint and a positional standpoint, because
yes,
I truly believe there are certain positional groups that are at a disadvantage in their rookie season in a development standpoint as far as the translation between college and pros. Mm-hmm. You always see tight ends struggle in their rookie year because there's just so much on their plate. So a brand new tight end is going to take 2 years, especially in a Sean Payton system.
Unless he's some crazy dude like Brock Bowers.
Yeah, but I mean, that's once in a generation player. We don't see Brock Bowers falling off trees.
No, we don't. So
it's a lot of pick and choose here.
Another new name is in the chat, Jay, and that is Victory Lap.
Ooh.
Saying, let's bow.
Let's bow. Thank you, Victory Lap. I'll take a victory lap to that.
Here's to you. And I'm going to tell you right now, Victory Lap, there was a time when there would always be an alcoholic beverage in my hand to cheers with, but I have stopped drinking. So I'll be sitting, I sit here now and I toast with my wonderful big old cup of ice cold water.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hey, I am now down 18 pounds, Jay. So
wow.
I'm doing it, buddy. I'm doing it.
That's good. That's good. There is zero negative to that. Only positive.
I mean, I do still enjoy. I did on my birthday. I did still enjoy a couple of drinks and
things in moderation, man.
But I've learned that I don't need to down 3 beers every podcast because I was doing that.
Yep.
So
I hear you there.
Let's see. We got KB82 popping back in saying Will Lutz doink was brutal. That wasn't a doink, dude. That was a gong. I mean, it was loud.
See, but I thought it was super depressing post game that was some sort of turning point. But really, actually looking back on it, aside from that kick, we got dominated in time of possession on that first half.
Oh, for sure.
So it really wouldn't have made a whole lot of difference whether we came in tied at halftime or down 3.
Yes and no, man. Like, who knows? I mean, butterfly effect. Like one little thing can change everything, and
the score would have been tied, but the momentum certainly wouldn't have been tied.
Well, I mean, if he had made it right there and given us a chance to go into that locker room tied on a high point, so to speak, like the guys, being like, "Hey, look, we're tied at halftime." They might have come out a little bit more energetic going into the second half, and it could have changed. It could have made a difference. I'm not saying it would have. I'm not saying that that's why we lost. I'm not, okay? Any more than I'm saying that the refs missing calls and not apologizing to our players for missing those calls. It was the reason that we lost. Was it annoying and did it piss me off? Yeah.
Is super annoying more than the actual realness of the moment of the ref going up to Josh Allen is that moment is now being taken and being run around by Chief fans, indicating the bias that the NFL has for Josh Allen and not Patrick Mahomes. And I find that absolutely
that's
laughable.
Disgusting.
That's
hysterical.
That they have any sort of platform to have any sort of gripe about the NFL officiating. It just makes me sick to my stomach.
Absolutely. Let's see. We got Victory Lap also saying Bo knows. Awesome. Love it. Shy Vargas, did we hear about Bo Nix that he had a fractured back?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. 3 transverse fractures of the spine. and he played with those from week 12 on. That's
So-
insanity.
It makes a little more sense though as to why starting on that Cleveland game he was far more like wild. It seemed like a little more uncontrolled, where before that game he was very much more buttoned up, very much more, in control of his mental processor. But starting in Cleveland and honestly throughout the rest of the season, he was kind of just letting it fly. Like little more gunslinger in him.
Yeah. Now Bonkers wants to know, do we think Bo will need back surgery? No. They're minor transverse fractures. They will heal on their own as long as for the next couple of months he obviously he's going to be continuing to keep his health and his athleticism up. How I can't believe that's how I'm saying it, but he'll continue to work out, but he'll rest the back, and it'll heal those kind of things as long as they're not over aggravated, will heal on their own. The hard part is when he suffered those in week 12 and then went on to play 7 more weeks. So
to be fair, Tyler, at least I heard Tyler Columbus say that is a far more common injury than people realize. That is an injury that so many players don't even communicate that happens. That is something that is.
It's
totally
one that
fair.
half the time they don't even realize they have.
Absolutely.
Because what it's going to feel like, what those they're almost microscopic, guys. These are they're very small fractures. Now there's 3 of them. So he probably felt a little bit more than just one, than you would if you just had the one little one. So that's good. But when you have them, that kind of back injury, it feels more like, nagging strain of the back, which is very normal.
Nerves.
Your back is, I have it, for crying out loud. My back, I wake up every morning now, 36 years old, and my back is so stiff and I'm sore and I'm like, oh God, that's kind of how it feels when you have those lower back transverse fractures. Now, granted, again, he played on those, and the reason that they continued to persist through the whole time was because, playing on those, they're not going to get better. They're in the offseason, right? They can't practice. Obviously, they can continue to go to the gym and stay strong and all that, but they get a couple of months here where they can just sit and go to Cancun with his glorious and gorgeous wife, and sit on the beach, sit in the hotel room, whatever, and just rest his back, and it'll heal. Those will heal up as long as you just have to avoid aggravating those even more. But still, I'll give it to him as a rookie. Like when I want to point at this right now. And then we can keep on going with some of our other favorite moments from the season. But I want to look at Bo with this in terms of his of the type of leader, type of player that he is. There are plenty of quarterbacks, honestly, in this league right now, that if they found out that there were cracks of any kind in their spine, would have been like, yeah, no, sit me for a while. Sit me. I need to, I need to recoup. I don't want it to get worse. Bo's like, I don't care. Okay, I have transverse fractures in my spine. Until I can't play, I'm gonna play.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show the type of player that he is, the type of leader he is in this locker room. And I hope that the rest of the locker room sees that.
Well, and there's a reason why we had such a clean injury report throughout the year. That doesn't mean players weren't injured. That means that we had the culture built up, that we weren't going to allow players to just call in sick. We didn't have any Randy Gregory's on the roster anymore. We didn't have people that just didn't give 2 craps and were in it for themselves. And that is such a refreshing thing, because we've always had players like that. Jerry Jeudy. And it's nice to be rid of those players. We have people that buy in, that are all in for the team, and that will follow the lead of the leader, Bo Nix. So that's awesome.
Oh my God!
I love it, Jay. Preach it. But I'm absolutely with you 100% on that, and I'm very okay knowing that that's just another another notch in the belt, so to speak, of the reasons that I am so happy that this is our quarterback.
Yep.
You know,
100%.
it just goes to validate even more the choice in Bo Nix at number 12 overall last season. You know, I'm not questioning it ever. I will never question that pick
Nope.
ever.
Sixth quarterback off the board or not, Sean Payton got the guy he wanted all along. I truly
Yes.
believe, other than Jaden Daniels, which I did hear Jaden Daniels was top board for a majority of teams, as for our team as well, but that was never going to be an obtainable thing. But I believe
No.
between Caleb Williams and Bo Nix, I still think Bo Nix would have been the guy for Sean Payton. He's
Yeah.
the perfect guy for him. So
Yeah.
um,
I mean, you know, the Bo Nix pick was a gigantic dub.
Yep.
And speaking of dubs, guys, if you're new to the show and you haven't already, or you're watching this on MHRT Network and you haven't already, please jump on over to Orange and Blue Network. Like,
take a
subscribe,
dab.
share, comment. Oh, yeah, we'll do it here in a minute. Like, subscribe, share, comment on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Check us out. Check out the audio version of our podcast on all your favorite platforms. But then we are partnered with and simulcast on MHRT Network. So please like, subscribe, share, and comment on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. Even on Instagram for MHRT, guys. We definitely appreciate it. And now talking about the dub. Guys, now you're going to get yourself a dub. All right? Bo Nix, that pick, that was a dub. Now you're going to go get yourself one. You're going to click on the link in the bio below to check out the sponsor of today's show. And that is W.GG with W Jitterless Energy Blend, which Jay seems to be doing lines of down there right now.
Bottom dollar.
Getting himself a little kick. But W has everything you need to get the kick in your pants to get your day going. W comes in a multitude of delicious flavors, as you can see scrolling across the screen right there. They are wonderful. Jay, I believe that's what you have right there. Correct? Was that that Galaxy?
I got the Galaxy grenade. It's the watermelon. Yep. I'm a big watermelon.
Yep, watermelon, guava, and lime. I mean, they have a bunch of delicious flavors. I've had this one, beach and peach. I love it. It's good stuff. Gives you the kick in the pants you need to start your day, but W won't give you the jitters or the crash later because W is formulated with no sugar. It also has no calories. It has no maltodextrin. It has no fillers and no artificial colors. It is all natural, containing nothing but amino acids, B vitamins, and nootropics, including their patented Neurofactor nootropic that keep you sharp throughout your day. And the caffeine that is in W is derived directly from the coffee plant. Every single cup of W has 2 cups of coffee worth of caffeine in it. It will definitely get you going without the jitters or the crash later. You can see it there in Jay's hand. I swear by it as well, but I don't have it right here by me right now. The stuff is amazing. I highly recommend. Go get yourself some W. And what's even better is at checkout, you're going to punch in code NRWOB10. That's NRWOB10. That'll get you 10% off your order. So guys, jump on over to W and show the sponsor of today's show just a little bit of love. So, Jay, I get well. Actually, let's hit up the last of these comments here, and then we'll
keep going down memory lane. I got a couple other memories.
So do I, my friend. So do I. Shy coming in saying, Bo Nix is tough guy. Yes, yes, he is. He's resilient and he's determined. He's tenacious. How's that for a word for you? He is tenacious.
Couple of T's.
I love Bo. Yeah, absolutely. KB82, the field goal and the touchdown in the back of the end zone ended it for us. Yeah, I feel like it was over long before that, buddy, but that was just the nail that closed the coffin. You know, and I'm sorry, you'll never convince me that Ty Johnson's feet didn't touch out of bounds as he in the back of that end zone.
Well, what it was is
he had control.
He didn't have control. He bobbled the ball after he came back down. So like he grabbed it and had it, and he was in bounds, but then he went out of bounds and then bobbled the ball again. So you'll never convince me he had possession. That's the thing.
No,
he was in bounds.
No, yeah, I mean his feet touched out of, but here's the thing: his feet touched out of bounds before he had full possession of the ball.
Correct.
and I get that in the grand scheme of reviewing a play, there has to be. I think they say there has to be like 90 something percent evidence to overturn a call on the field, and they're just that the evidence was just so marginal in that situation that I don't think they had enough to overturn it. But the fact is, like,
the
it shouldn't have
difference
been a
between a
touchdown.
call stands and a call is confirmed.
Yeah.
Wildly different things.
Oh, and then talking about Bo, Bo coming back and getting stronger, a much improved strength and conditioning team now. Absolutely. In fact, I would venture to say, based on the amount of guys that were healthy at one time this season on our team at any given time, possibly the best strength and conditioning team in the NFL.
And I know that this is blasphemy for Broncos Twitter, but like, are we all thankful Lauren Landau's gone? I kind of am,
Very.
because
Very.
there was only bad things when he was around. I know he's a player's guy and everybody loves him, but like, we've only improved since he's left. Like,
yeah, no, definitely. Definitely. Let's see. KB82, do the Broncos draft Tez Johnson and add another Oregon Duck to the roster? I don't foresee it happening. I get the story would be fun. And Bo's baby brother. We're going back to the B alliterations here. Bo's baby brother. But I mean, the fact is, like, look at Troy Franklin has not had a good season. He hasn't.
And that was my exact point too.
Yes, actually, I believe you're the one that made it first. Jay, make it again, please.
Troy Franklin had a far superior career at Oregon with Bo Nix than Tez Johnson. And Tez Johnson, I mean, Dylan Gabriel's not a slough. Like, he's a very talented quarterback. And I just kind of feel like we already have Tez Johnson on the roster. We need a top end talent on the wide receiving core, not just another role player, which is what our roster's filled with. So I don't want to add more role players, guys with potential. We got to have top end talent at that.
KB has a point here for you, though, Jay.
No, he is not. No. In a production, you could have said the same thing about Troy Franklin, but he was barely drafted in the 4th round last year. Troy Franklin had the best season a Oregon Duck wide receiver has ever had in their college history. Troy Franklin did. So I don't believe that, and I don't believe Tez Johnson is even going to be drafted in the 1st or 2nd round. So no,
I mean, I don't know.
I don't.
Who knows? I think ultimately the people that are hoping for Tez are kind of hoping for the Bo and Tez connection and the story that would be there, and it's not. I can't use the word nostalgic for it because it's not something we're but like just the fun of that.
Just me personally, I want a first or 2nd round wide receiver, or I want a free agent. I don't want any middle ground wide receivers anymore.
Yeah.
We have a roster filled with middle ground wide receivers. We're good on depth.
That are all passable. Talent. Look. Our wide receiver core did a lot this season. They did as a whole. I mean, like Sean Payton, just like Joe Brady showed the Buffalo Bills doing, who is a Sean Payton disciple. Sean Payton is the kind of guy who spreads the field. It's hard to double down and double team certain players because he's has his quarterback throwing the ball everywhere to everyone. So, and we saw good things out of Devon Vele, and even though he struggled in some things, we saw good things out of Lil Jordan Humphrey. We saw some good things out of Marvin Mims. We saw some good things out of Cortland Sutton. We saw some good things out of Troy Franklin. The list goes on and on and on. And yet none of them, to me, really sets themselves apart right now. So I don't know. We'll see. Peyton is going to simply draft Tez because of his connection to Bo. Now if he sees something in Tez that says that's good for my team, Sean will go for it.
And KB82 says, Kenny's saying 900 yards and 10 touchdowns ain't no slough. So, okay, that's great. Franklin, in his last season at Oregon, had 1,400 receiving yards with 14 touchdowns. And we just saw what that yielded in this offense.
And here's the thing. Again, you talked about it earlier in the show, Jay. I want to point this out real quick. Talking about player development, especially rookies. Okay. We cannot forget that, besides Cortland Sutton, we really didn't, and Lil Jordan Humphrey, who's been around a while, but we're not going to go there because, dry fart.
I would say he's gone, but he's not going to be gone. He'll be a practice squatter.
He'll be a practice squatter probably.
He's in the club.
But if you look at Devon Vele, you look at Troy Franklin, both of them rookies, and then of course you look at Marvin Mims, who's only in his second year. All right, now he had it. Now Marvin Mims, God bless him, had a phenomenal second half of the season. He really showed up in from game 6. I'd say about game 6 on. But again, these guys, they're not just going to be gone. They're developmental, and I believe that we'll probably, we're going to bring in some talent here at the wide receiver position in free agency, like you said, Jay, or in the draft, and there's going to be competition going into the season for who's going to make the team wide receiver. You would hope that these rookies developed enough this season and some in this off season that they'll be, ready to go and take those positions next season, but we just don't know yet.
There's wildly different opinions out there about Troy Franklin. There's some people out there that are saying Troy Franklin will be a bubble roster decision next year. And then there's others that say that he'll make a big jump and he'll be a solidified number 3 and Mims will slot into the 2 and we'll stand pat and that'll be that. And I kind of come into the middle in that. But again, I don't think our wide receiver room is necessarily that bad as what we thought in the beginning of the year. Because we saw the first, say 3 weeks of the year. And this offense was disgusting, horrible. And we directly pointed to the talent level of that room and said, well, Cortland Sutton's our number 1, and he's like a number 3 on a lot of teams. And we said, that's the problem. But it really wasn't. At the end of the year, we kind of look back, and the wide receiver room wasn't that bad. We need top end talent, and that's why I want a first round or a second round pick, or I don't want anyone. Stand pat. We have bigger holes.
Maybe I'll go back and watch a little more Tez Johnson film over the next couple of days.
For Franklin,
he says Tez is a better player than Troy. Okay. You know what, KB82, I trust you. You and me are buddies. And I'll watch some film. I'll watch some more film and see if there's something that I've missed.
Mind you this too. And this is a point that I brought up post game that I'm going to hammer home this entire offseason that I think is very interesting. Troy Franklin had more targets in the overall season than Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims is a veteran, has been in the NFL for long enough to get his, get his wits to him. And I find it interesting that a rookie, a 4th round rookie, got more targets than him. Now, granted, Vele, I believe, is number 2 in that wide receiver room in targets, which also is extremely surprising, considering Vele only played, I think, 13 games and still was number 2 in that room in targets. That it's a weird room, man. It's a very weird room. But remember, Sean Payton said, I believe about Vele, that he reminded him of Marquise Colston, was a low drafted wide receiver from the Saints that turned out to be a borderline Pro Bowler. And I think that's what Sean Payton sees out of Vele. So we might be standing pat in that room. I don't think to a degree.
I think so. I think they're going to shake it up a bit. I mean, obviously, in the offseason, you can sign up to 94 guys for training camp.
Sure.
Obviously, it gets whittled down to 53, but you can have 94 guys on that roster in the offseason. There will be competition.
There's just far bigger holes on this roster. I guess that's the point I make.
But and KB82 makes a good point here. Franklin has 0 hands.
That will come. Okay.
We'll see.
We saw the moon ball finally work.
Just do us all a favor, Jay. Don't make Troy Franklin your next Amari Mathis, okay?
He might be. I pick a player, and that's my guy, man. That's my guy. Dude, I want to throw this up here because KB80, I love throwback references.
Yep.
Darius Watts, man. I haven't heard that name for so long. I love random players of Broncos history like that, man.
Yeah.
That's why I threw out the Lenny Walls name in post game the other day.
Yeah, you did.
Lenny Walls. random ass player in Broncos history that nobody will ever remember or appreciate. But man, Darius Watts, good one, Booker, good one.
Pardon me. It's been a long day. Shy Vargas popping in right now saying, how much cap space do we have? All right. So as it stands, so one thing to remember, obviously we did everything we did this season with the biggest dead cap hit. Oh God. Oh my God. Hit the button, Jay. Damn it, Johnny.
Damn it, Johnny.
God. The biggest dead cap hit in NFL history in the form of Russell Wilson. But on top of him, and I don't have the actual thing that I had before. I have it somewhere. I'm just not going to take the time to find it right now. But on one of our previous episodes a few months ago, I went through and listed all the dudes that were accounting towards dead cap on this team. Jay, do you remember how many names were on that list? It was 14.
Man, a lot. Way more than I thought. We always think about Russell Wilson, like obviously, that's a chunk. But like I didn't know the sheer number of players.
We had over
Laundry
14.
list.
We had over 14 accounting for at least 2 million or more. Okay, so our dead cap this season was disgusting.
Yep.
I mean, there were names on that list. The likes of Jawan James was still on that list, and Randy Gregory was still on that list. And there were names of dude. What's his name? The running back that we lost our from who played for the Chiefs before, who had all the drops, the fumble machines.
Jamal Charles? No.
Jamal Charles. Jamal Charles was still on that list too. I mean, there was just so many names on that list of dead cap money. And all of them, every single one, except for Russell Wilson, drops off this year. Every one, except for Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson's dead cap hit, which was about $48 million this season, drops to about 32 next season. So, in the 2025 season. So, what we are looking at in terms of cap space right now is we are 13th in the NFL. This is according to Spot Track, which is my go-to for all contract everything, all professional sport contracts. I swear by it, and I try to be the contract guy for our network, kind of keeping track of these things. We are currently sitting at 13th overall in the NFL in cap space this season. We have not been able to eclipse top 20 in almost 5 years.
Yeah.
So we are now sitting at 13th most available money with $54,206,092. So that's now you have to remember, you have to allocate about 12 of that towards the draft. You have to allocate about 12 million to your of that 54 to pay your draft, the players that you draft.
And that's without contract restructures, without vet cuts,
And there will be a lot of that.
Guarantee.
So, I mean, 54,206,000, that's pretty respectable. We can do a lot with that kind of money.
I know George Payton is the GM, but we also need to look back on the history of Sean Payton and the decisions he makes from a cap standpoint, and that he is the guy that kicks a salary down the road. That's why the Saints are in the position they are. And don't think for a second, and we talked about this post-game, that they don't recognize that they have a absolute stud in Bo Nix, and that they need to capitalize in the next 4 years on that rookie money for him. So there will be contract extensions that are kicked down the road that are going to be cost saving in the immediate time, so that we can start signing free agents for more money. Like we're about to bulk up, Broncos Country. In the next 3 years, we're going to bulk up.
Like I said, $54.2 million in cap space. Okay. Take 12 off of that. So we're sitting pretty with about 42 million in cap money that we can spread around. 8 million here, 8 million here, 2 million here, depending on position, and start bringing dudes in. And on top of that, let us not forget, I always bring this up, but you can always work on taking, those contract restructures, turning some money on contracts into signing bonuses.
Absolutely.
You put that,
That's
you
why
put
you
it
have
down
the
on paper
richest
that
owner in the world.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you put that down on paper as a signing bonus. Guess what? Now you can pay him in cash. And who has the most cash of any NFL ownership in the NFL? Oh wait, the Denver Broncos. So we have plenty of cash we can throw at guys too, and then open up even more cap space for ourselves. There's always a way to maneuver the cap limit. You just gotta know how to do it. And I promise you, George Payton, the Walton Penner group, they know how to do it, and they're gonna do it.
You're right.
So there's plenty there. KB82 is giving you more love here, Jay. Selvin Young, he just threw it out there for no reason.
No, they're great. They're great.
Bonkers Broncos saying James/Gregory equals bonking failures. Yes, sir.
I mean,
yes, sir.
Randy Gregory had a drug problem. I'd have a drug problem too if I had to spend 3 years in Lincoln, Nebraska. Just saying.
And follow that up with playing for Jerry Jones. Just saying.
God, what an awful existence he had. I don't blame him.
But even so, I mean, definitely failures. KB82 said they can finally afford to make you guys the official show of the Denver Broncos. Hey, dude, I'm gonna tell you what right now. You go tell them. You go tell them. I'll do it for free. Okay, like you make us the official show of the Denver Broncos. I'll do it for free. I'll do it for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't need the money.
Uncrustable.
I mean, I do. Don't get me wrong. I need the money. I mean, I'm living paycheck to paycheck here, but I love what I do. So I love doing this so much. I would do it for nothing. Bonker says, Jay, you are absolutely right. Someone needs to be careful about the credit card. Well, I mean,
I'm saying the opposite. Rack that shit up for the next 3 years.
Spend, baby.
Worry about
have
it
the money?
down the line.
We have the money. We have the money on a developing rookie quarterback who is definitely a franchise quarterback.
Honestly, stats have shown throughout the years here that you need to win a Super Bowl. You need to get a Super Bowl under your belt under that rookie contract for a quarterback. Because as soon as you sign that quarterback for big money, chances are it's going downhill unless you get some a-hole like Patrick Mahomes that takes a team deal and doesn't take the market up the way he should be. I'm sure the NFLPA does not like Patrick Mahomes for that.
But you call him an a-hole for that, but you know what? I actually respect that.
It's Tom Brady. Tom Brady did that, dude. He was one of the first people to.
It's because I mean, and this is me as a Broncos fan. I hate the Chiefs. I hate them. But I respect Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback. I don't necessarily respect him as a person as much as I used to for some of his more recent personality quirks he has shown. However, I can massively respect someone who isn't doing this for the money. They're doing it for the love of the game. They're doing it because they want to go down in history. They're doing it because they want to be they want to be the best at what they do. And
he wants weapons.
Yeah, exactly. And Tom Brady did too. And I didn't like Tom Brady when he was a player, at least when he was with New England. But I could always respect that he was willing to do something like that, take a team deal in the interest of bettering his team, not necessarily bettering his his bank account.
That's how they could afford people like Wes Welker, like Randy Moss, like AJ Dillon when he was, came in as a vet, like those high-end talent players that alleviate some of your responsibility. I mean, that's the way to go. Yeah. They're not wrong.
Yeah. Bonkers Bronco saying we don't have to be the poverty Arizona Cardinals. That's for damn sure. Absolutely, buddy. KB82 reminding us that the Nuggets are playing the Mavs tonight. Totally. That's why I'm rocking this. As soon as we get off of here, I'll be sitting down and enjoying the game.
Kyrie Irving is playing. So
I know. I saw that and I was like, all right, this will be a game.
It'll be a game. Yep.
It'll be a
Is
game.
Luca's still out though, isn't he?
He's still out. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
So we approach the instance, and I guess not to get too far off topic, but it's the minute watching right now of how far in do we do the Westbrook Murray combo compared to putting in CB with Murray or CB with Westbrook, because CB does not deserve to lose his starting job, but at the end of the day, Westbrook or Murray needs to cut the crap, and one of them needs to be a starter.
Westbrook, early in the season coming to the Nugs, when we first announced that he was coming to the Nuggets, I was very excited. And then the beginning of the season, I was like, oh my God, this is a shell of Russell Westbrook. Who is this guy and why is he on my team? Now he looks like Russell Westbrook, and he is showing that he is still Russell Westbrook.
Hot damn, and, KB. Yeah, 32-15 right now.
Woo! Love it, love it, love it.
It's a hell of a first quarter. Let's go, Nugs.
Now, and I would love to remind everybody that during this NFL offseason, we will be launching the Not Your Toddlers Nuggets podcast here on this network at some point. We're just still trying to figure out all the logistics of that. But we will be doing a Nuggets podcast on here very soon. Okay, so Jay, let's talk a little bit more. Yep, there they are. There they are. I've got you can kind of see it right over here. That's the beautiful tableau of photographs from their 2023 championship victory. So, yep, me and you both, buddy. Let's see. Okay. KB says they are playing all three and easing Gordon into the lineup. Hey, I'm just glad Gordon's coming back. Yeah. I've missed AG. I don't want him to get out there and go too hard and hurt himself again, but I am excited to be getting him back. So let's talk a little bit more about our favorite moments from the season. You kind of went first on the last one, so I'd like to talk about this next one. This one, a favorite kind of period of the season for me. It's not so much one moment, but in the 2024 season, one thing that really got me excited is benching of Baron Browning for Nick Bonito.
Dude, that's huge. Yeah,
I remember seeing it, and I was still had those gears turning in my head of of the same thing I felt when we first drafted Nick Bonito. Like, why? What are you, Baron Browning? Really? Are you kidding me? Like, the dude has one of the speediest get-offs in the NFL. Like, what are you doing? But he just wasn't being, he was still speedy, but he wasn't being productive. Remember, they sat him, and I was like, can't get better with Nick Bonito in there. And good God, was I wrong. And good God, were we all wrong in that sense, to watch then Nick Bonito just take off and just start torching dudes across the NFL. I mean, 12 and a half sacks for the season?
Yeah. I was going to say, I just looked it up. I forgot Baron Browning got picked up by the Cardinals. I couldn't remember who he got picked up by.
He did. But I mean, like,
do a damn thing after that.
Think about one thing with Baron Browning here real quick. Or the Baron Browning, Nick Bonito situation for this season. Nick Bonito led the NFL in sacks, or was top 5, is now a, all pro bowler for what he did. He didn't even start, Jay.
Yeah. Wasn't even our starter.
He sat
week
for
1.
4 games.
Nuts.
He sat for 4 games, and the guy who was our starter got unloaded to the Cardinals mid-season. I mean, that to me was such a turning point for this defense, because once you got guys trying to, like them having to worry about Nick Bonito, now Jonathan Cooper could start eating on the other side. Yep. It just and dudes could start eating in the middle because guards are pulling to try to seal the edge and all that. And just Baron Browning's emergence set this season apart in a big way.
Yeah. Dude, that is a huge wave, huge next wave of this team, because we had no idea that Nick Bonito had the skill set that he did, and that can consistently do it. A lot of pass rushers are good for half of their reps, and they waste their energy, and they don't have the longevity. But it seemed like he kind of had his foot on the pedal the entire time and held the bulk of the reps. which is a big deal. So we didn't really have a huge rotation. It was
We
Cooper and
didn't.
Benito down the run.
Yeah, it was like for so many years post post Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. That was the last
committee.
tandem. Yeah, it became a pass rush by committee, just like we are doing right now with our running back room.
Correct.
And just like everybody's been saying, like, I'm so sick of seeing a dude who's getting hot in the run game going to the bench. And it was the same thing with the pass rush. And now, but like you said, now we are seeing the dudes getting the hot hands. You get hot, you're going to stay on the field.
Yeah.
So
no, that's
one of my favorite.
Pivot.
That's one of my favorite moments from the season. I was so high on Baron Browning, so low on Nick Benito, and I don't like being wrong. I hate being wrong, but I was so happy to have been wrong in that situation.
I was very wrong. I was super wrong in that scenario because I thought Baron Browning on a contract year, and mind you, I don't know if you remember, Baron Browning was one of the first NFL players to sell stock of his next contract. I don't know if you remember this. I don't remember the company that he used to do this.
Didn't even know. Honestly, I didn't even know that.
So he sold a percentage of his next contract to shareholders, and that would create a return for those shares based upon his performance in a contract year for a pass rusher. And I would love to know the post. Well, I mean, I guess we won't know until he signs his next deal here, what the shareholders would be getting for it. But one of the first players to ever do that. And I thought that was super interesting. I'd never thought of it in that term. Tillman and Ellis. Dude, Jonah Ellis, huge name preseason, and even in the very beginning of the season, had a lot of noise around him and played extremely well. I feel like he was kind of the first half underrated, behind, under the radar player, and then Tillman was the second half. Tillman got more and more reps as the year went on, and Ellis honestly kind of dimmed down a little bit, but not his fault. He just got less opportunities because Cooper.
Well, he got hurt. Don't forget, he had to have that. Don't forget, Ellis had to have that shoulder surgery in November.
True.
And honestly, I'm a little worried with Ellis because I was watching that shoulder that he hurt against the Bills. It's the same shoulder, dude.
Yeah. Yep. That is troublesome. That is
definitely troublesome. Mm-hmm.
So I want to, you kind of took a big broad stroke to your memory. I want to take a specific moment in time for the next memory here.
You're going, I went artillery, you're going sniper. Go.
The handcuffs got taken off of Bo Nix. And do you know when that happened, Johnny?
I was going to say
Thursday night, New Orleans.
Oh,
and
yeah, okay.
That game transformed Bo Nix into like, oh, wow, the kid can handle a little bit more than what we've been giving him thus far. And I remember that game going into it thinking, man, Sean Payton's got an ego. Sean Payton coming back to New Orleans. This is going to be a big game for him specifically, personally. And it didn't let us down. It was everything that we thought it would be as far as a buildup of a game. And it was Sean Payton literally flexing his muscles from a play calling standpoint. And it was the first time in the entire year that we all sat back and said, damn, like, we should be super thankful we have Sean Payton as a play caller. Like, he knows what the hell he's doing. Yes, and not only that in his play calling, but like Bo Nix handled it extremely well and prospered even in it. And I remember that as a pivot point, at least mentally, of like, all right, this is another, checkpoint in the Bo Nix rookie campaign of like, damn, Bo Nix can handle this. Like, Bo Nix is cerebral enough to like take the next step in the playbook that he's given, because we all realize that he got a super dumbed down version of a playbook in the beginning of the season. And that New Orleans game was a welcome to the NFL moment for Bo Nix. And I just remember that really fondly. And I think I will, because it's not like we play New Orleans all the time. So that game's going to stick out, I think, to us as far as the progression of what Bo Nix becomes of
That's the first regular season game of Bo Nix. The rest of
Yes.
that before that was preseason for him.
I love it. I love it. Okay. I got one more for you here. Oh, hang on. Shy saying I'm going to watch the Nuggets game. All right, buddy, you have fun.
You
We'll
should.
see you next time.
Absolutely.
Enjoy,
I'll be
bud.
watching it right after this as well. So
Yeah, me too. We were not going to stay on too much longer, I promise. Okay, so I just want to say, you kind of threw out that I'm gonna you went narrow, with that that particular game. I'm gonna go even narrower for a moment when I knew, just a moment that sticks out in my head from the season that just, chef's kiss. The pass over the middle of the field. The long pass over the middle of the field to Marvin Mims versus the Browns.
yeah,
That went, what was it? 94 yards?
I believe so. Yeah, that
But
massive.
but beyond the yardage you got on it, beyond the fact that it was a touchdown, the precision, that was the moment I think I looked at Bo Nix and was like, not only does he have a cannon of an arm, because I mean that was a dart that he threw, but where he put it between two defenders and in to a receiver on the run, it was there was such perfect precision in that moment. That showed me he can be the gunslinger and game manager at the same time. And I don't know, that moment just sticks out to me as one of my favorite moments from the season. I'm going to be doing a re-edit for the Get Bucked game day show before the season begins. The next season begins. Because during the Get Buck game day show, we have the horses running and all that stuff, because that was, that's part of it. But I also, I'd always designed it with a few of those awesome plays over the last few seasons. And unfortunately, it's been riddled full of, plays by, with Bradley Chubb, who's gone, and Russell Wilson, who's gone. And the only one I think that is in those videos still here is Cortland Sutton. A touchdown, that catch that he got from Russell Wilson. No, from, I think it was Drew Lock against the Cleveland Browns. And I'm like, I've just been waiting until we had some really good film to use. And this team this season gave me plenty of film on both sides of the ball that I feel comfortable doing a re-edit and just getting rid of those old plays and putting in the new.
Doesn't it make it a little more sweet to think that Cleveland throw was coming off of that back injury? Maybe as minor as that back injury was, but like that was his first game, and he said in that interview that like I wasn't gonna miss the very first Monday night game in my career. Like I don't care what happened.
Right.
Incredible.
Absolutely incredible. Do you have one more, Jay, you want to throw out there before we get out of here? Just a moment from your season?
So in the timeline of the year, the only other moment I can think of was in a loss. And it was the Kansas City game, the blocked kick. And it had nothing to do with the block kick. It was the moment in which Bo Nix stepped up to the plate. And if you recall, the last drive that got us into field goal position to even have the moment to have the field goal blocked. Because at the end of the day, we were just kind of toying around. We thought that field goal was a foregone conclusion.
We were playing with our food at that point.
Absolutely. That wasn't a long 60-yard field goal to win it. That was a, hey, we already got
32 yards. I think it was a 32-yard field goal. I think it was 32.
But it's Bo Nix in Arrowhead Stadium stepping up to the plate as a rookie.
Going toe-to-toe with Patty Mahomes. Yeah.
And saying, nah, F this. We're going to win this game. And he came down and he stepped up to the plate and had that moment in the season where we're a legitimate team, man, and we're going to be a problem.
Literally, I think the moment in that game, the moment that sticks out to me, besides the blocked kick, because, of course, that's going to haunt Broncos country for years.
Yeah.
But the moment that sticks out to me had nothing to do with it wasn't even the players on the field. It was the looks on the faces of the Kansas City fans, the looks on the faces of the Kansas City players on the sidelines of utter shock and defeat that they had in that moment. Like you said, they got, like we've said over and over, they got lucky. They got the win because they blocked that field goal. But I mean, in that moment, they were just as sure as we were that we were going to win that game with that field goal. And the look on their faces, that was validating beyond anything else this season. They like the look on them just, oh my God. Oh,
Yeah.
what? No. It was beautiful. And even though we ended up losing on that fluke block, well, it wasn't even a fluke. I get the game planned for Alex Forsyth getting knocked on his ass.
Still a
fluke. But I have said,
you want to do that, you can't execute that every time.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I even said this. Like, I even gave the Chiefs a little bit too much credit right after that game, saying, well, it looks like they did this, that, and the more I watched it, I was like, even though they targeted Alex Forsyth, that was good game planning. 9 times out of 10, even with knocking him on his ass,
it doesn't
you're
matter.
not going to get that field goal.
Correct.
They got lucky. But again, for just like you said, that drive solidified that Bo Nix could go toe to toe, that he was down, that he could lead this team to tough victories, and then of course, like I said, the fans, the look on of sheer shock and defeat on their faces, just even though they won, I will still remember those in my head for the next, honestly, forever.
Yeah. And I'll remember the pussy willow that Patrick Mahomes was limping around, acting like his leg was falling off. And then when that kick got blocked, him running 40 around the stadium.
Onto the field like he just won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I remember seeing that. I remember watching that and thinking to myself, dude, you didn't win this game.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't because of you that this game is won. Like, you could quit acting like you're the be all end all in this one. You weren't. Our defense embarrassed you. Our defense held you to under what was the final score
14.
of that game? It was 14 points. Quit acting like you are like this is like something to be so proud about. Like, it's not, pal. But anyway.
Yeah.
I digress, guys.
Neither here nor there.
You know what? We've run a little bit over an hour now, and I think it's a good time to call it. We've had a lot of fun. This has been our 2024 retrospective, where we just got to reminisce on our favorite moments from the 2024 season. We got to enjoy and just chew it up with you guys in the chat, and we appreciate that. Jay, thank you for being here tonight with me, cuz I love you, man, and I am so proud of what we've accomplished on this network this year, and I know that the sky is the limit for what we're going to be able to do in the future. We're just going to keep it rolling, and guys, we hope you take that journey with us. So if you have not already, please like, subscribe, share, comment, ding the little notification bell so you know when any of our shows go live. Don't forget, we have multiple shows that run all week. We have we have this one, the Nothing Rhymes Orange and Blue podcast on Tuesdays. On Wednesday nights is Broncos Talk with Adon Diaz and Bronco Libre. Then on Fridays, there's the entirely Spanish podcast, Viva los Broncos. And then we will be launching other new shows this off season on the network. And my goal is to hopefully, except for maybe one day a week, have a show every single night on this network. So please make sure that you're liking and you're following along as we continue to grow. Conversely, we are simulcast and partnered with MHRT Network. So this is live on there as well. So please like, subscribe, share, comment on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. They're even on Instagram. Guys, we'd appreciate it so much. Guys, this has been a fun season. 2024 is over. The season is over. And now we can start the off season. We're going to be doing so much in the off season. Lots of fun discussions, talks, what ifs, would you, could you, would you, how, draft talk. Oh my gosh, all the draft talk. We're going to be doing a live draft show. There's just so much we're going to be doing. So please continue to roll it back with us, guys. We're going to have a lot of fun this off season, and I cannot wait. Go Go ahead.
Bonkers Broncos asks, see you again for the draft. You're going to see us every week until the draft, Broncos Bonkers.
Oh, yeah. We are
so
here every single week. We are here every single week, but there will be a live, at least for the first round, a live draft show that begins at the beginning of the draft and goes all the way to the last pick.
Plus, we got free agency in
round.
March, and honestly, in the time frame of this franchise, free agency is going to be massive for us in March this year.
I can't wait, dude. I'm so excited. I mean, I'm gonna start making my big board of names, both for free agency and the draft. I can't wait. I'm gonna have so much fun with it. So, guys, thank you for joining us on the first edition of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast in the 2025 offseason. We appreciate you. We love you. Go Broncos. We thank you for being here with us. One thing that unites all of us is our absolute love of the Denver Broncos. We are not going anywhere. So, guys, we will see you next Tuesday on the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. Don't forget to catch Broncos Talk tomorrow night with Adon Diaz and Bronco Libre. Thank you, Broncos Country, and we are out of here. Go Broncos!
Orange and blue, we're here for you. Talking Broncos all day through. No stopping us, we're on the loose. Come join the crew, no bad news. Podcast vibes so fresh and true. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Catching up on all that we knew. Hit play, let the episodes accrue. Nothing rhymes.